She was 9 when the sky ripped open. New Kalos Prime, one of the shining frontier colony, lasted 11 minutes. 11? That's how long it took for the alien ships to drop out of orbit, shatter the defense satellites, vaporize every structure over 2 stories, and turn a green-blue paradise into a field of smoking glass. No warning, no demands, no chance. They weren't there to conquer. They were there to erase. The only reason she survived was because she fell. A stupid game. Hide and seek. She slipped between the cracks of a municipal plaza when the first blast hit, broke her leg, fractured ribs, collapsed into the dark. She woke up buried. Fire above, screaming, something hissing through the vents. The air tasted like blood and metal. She didn't cry. She didn't call for help. She just waited. That's how the medics found her 3 days later. Silent, burned, unmoving, eyes open, still locked on the ceiling that wasn't there anymore. They lifted her from the rubble, labeled her Survivor 23, and added her to the triage shuttle off-world. She didn't speak, didn't ask where her family was, didn't flinch when the burn Joe was applied. The doctors called it shock, but they were wrong. She wasn't in shock. She was listening. In the ward, the others wailed. Mothers without children. Children without limbs. She lay in silence, not blinking. They tried therapy. Voice prompts. Soothing interfaces. She never responded. Except once. They showed her a picture of the enemy vessel. Not for information, just as part of a psychological diagnostic. She reached out and touched the image. Pressed her finger to the hull pattern. Pressed again. And again, until the nurse had to gently pull her hand away. She didn't cry, but the print of her fingertip remained on the screen. The staff recorded it as behavioral fixation, but someone else saw the footage. Section 7, Terran Defense Division. Deep black site. No insignias. No medals. No uniforms. They weren't looking for soldiers. They were looking for triggers. When they saw her response, they didn't ask permission. They rerouted her transfer off the civilian list. Her name was scrubbed. Her medical record archived under red tape. She ceased to exist and began again, code marked as Echo 47. Reconstruction was slow. Her bones were regrown. Skin layered in synthetic regenstrata. Voice box recalibrated. Cognitive scaffolding enhanced through deep neuroadaptive training. Most would have broken. Most begged for sedation. She never spoke, never resisted. Monitors recorded abnormal neural stability during pain response. When a tech asked why she didn't scream, she finally wrote something. 6 words, shaky, burned into a datapad stylus. Because it wouldn't bring them back. She wasn't angry. She wasn't scared. She was becoming empty. And in that emptiness, Earth saw something it could use. They put her through the shadow circuit, the highest level survival gauntlet Earth had ever designed. No age limit, no mercy, not for combat, for control, for seeing if someone could endure years of trauma simulation without losing functionality. She passed. Quietly, efficiently, her instructors began calling her Ash, not as a code name, but because she reminded them of something that already burned, just waiting for wind. On her 14th birthday, they gave her access to a simulation terminal. They let her run it herself. She designed a program without instructions, launched it without a word. On screen, the alien fleet returned. She built the colony from memory, placed civilians in proper paths, replayed the invasion down to the scream loops embedded in planetary audio logs. Then, without prompt, she redesigned the defense network, redirected the power grid, targeted the landing zones with orbital platforms. It wasn't a revenge fantasy. It was a reconfiguration, an optimized counterassault. They watched in silence as she rewrote history, not to escape it, but to reverse it. At 16, she disappeared again. Records show she was moved to Command Pathway Red, a program so classified it had no physical location. They built her a Neuralink command suit, something only she could wear, responding only to her neuroelectric patterns. Reflex triggers tied to memories burned into her amygdala. No buttons, no triggers, just thought, just purpose. When asked if she still remembered the attack, she answered without hesitation, not in words. She typed a single line into the system terminal. I remember everything. I forgive nothing. On her 17th birthday, Earth received an alert. Enemy ships were returning. Same species, same class, same formation. She walked into the ops room before anyone summoned her. She didn't ask for permission. She didn't salute. She simply uploaded a NAV path into the fleet AI. No one spoke, until she finally did. Her first full sentence since childhood. I want to lead this one. They granted it, not because of rank, not because of clearance, but because no one else could understand what was coming. She didn't want revenge. She wanted completion. And the galaxy was about to learn what happens when Earth doesn't send a hero, but a memory sharpened into a blade. She did not take a fleet. She took a shadow, a formation of vessels not listed in any Terran military registry. No names, no emblems, no IFF tags. Ghost-coded ships, each controlled not by traditional bridge crews, but through her neural command suit. She didn't fly them. She wore them, each one a limb, each one a nerve ending. Her mind stretched across vacuum, and in the silence between stars, she felt nothing. The enemy didn't even know she was coming. Their analysts had predicted Earth wouldn't retaliate. Not yet. Not after years of retraction and silence. They saw Earth's caution as fear. They read humanity's silence as weakness. They didn't realize Earth had found something more powerful than vengeance. It had found someone who didn't want war. Just a conclusion. She arrived in orbit over Charnax Prime, an alien world turned launch site for new waves of attacks. She didn't fire. She didn't broadcast. Instead, she parked her fleet in high orbit and did something worse. She let them see her. Just one person, standing the command deck, broadcast openly. No armor, no weapon. Just her, face unreadable, eyes forward, waiting. Their scanners lit up. Their threat detection went red. Their AI flagged a non-conforming human command architecture. They launched interceptors. 12 vessels. Fast. Aggressive. The moment they came into weapons range, her ships responded. Not with fire, but redirection. Each interceptor lost lock. Then one by one, they turned mid-flight and fired on their own hangar bays. Not hacked. Hijacked. She wasn't inside their systems. She was beneath them. She had memorized their response trees, their target protocols, their blind spots from childhood. Her brain didn't send commands. It pre-wrote reactions. Down below, the command center panicked. They attempted to jam her. She rerouted signal paths through their own defense satellites. They fired decoys. She ignored them, knowing they would flare before impact, based on past telemetry. They scrambled main fleet response. She finally moved, gave one thought. Begin. Her fleet disassembled in orbit, not exploded, fragmented. Each vessel broke into hundreds of autonomous strike shards, too small to target, too erratic to lock. The sky became a shower of whispering stars, descending in perfect silence. They didn't hit infrastructure. They landed at doorways, barracks, hangars, communications nodes. Each one pulsed once, non-lethal EMP waves, and disabled the planet's ability to respond. She didn't come to fight them. She came to shut them off. Inside enemy command, leaders screamed for evac, but their transports remained cold. No power, no clearance. Screens everywhere went white. Then a video began playing. Footage of the first attack on New Kalos Prime. Real, unfiltered. Screams, fires, a child buried under concrete. And then a pause, a face, her face. Older now, cold, still. She spoke. I remember your fire. Now you'll remember my silence. Every command system collapsed, but she didn't kill them. Not yet. Instead, she had Earth broadcast a message system-wide. The war you started ended long ago. You just forgot who survived it. They hadn't faced Earth's military. They had faced its memory, weaponized through a girl who no longer needed emotion to destroy. She left the planet intact, except for one detail. She carved a pattern into the capital city using precision drone strikes. A child's drawing, scorched into the land for orbit to see. Crude, shaky, a house, a son, a family. Beneath it, 3 letters in ancient Terran glyph was... The enemy tried to send diplomatic probes afterward. She intercepted them, opened their hulls, removed nothing, just placed a single item inside each one. A child's shoe, then sent them home. No reply needed, no translation offered. But everyone who saw it understood. They hadn't made an enemy. They had made a ledger, and it was still balancing. Earth didn't rein her in, because Earth didn't control her. It released her. And across the stars, systems once aligned to the enemy began going dark. Not because of bombs, because they remembered. They started locking their doors before she arrived, started surrendering worlds no one had even threatened, because they'd seen what she did with memory. And they knew the next move wouldn't be mercy. The galaxy started talking. Not openly. No one dared speak her name. They called her the Phantom of Kalos. Some whispered the Echo. Others simply referred to her by her fleet's transmission code, 0447. But the meaning was always the same. The girl they didn't kill is now the ghost tearing down their walls. And she wasn't using fleets anymore. Now she used ideas. The second planet to fall never heard a shot. No descending drones. No warning alarms. Instead, every display flickered once. Just once. And the words appeared. I remember the street where my brother died. So will you. Then power ceased. Satellites fell. Orbitals deorbited with surgical self-sabotage. Not destroyed, emptied. She knew the access points. She knew their emergency bypass protocols. She had memorized the Empire's logic trees as a child. She didn't need to break the system. She just needed to remind it what it used to be. The planet surrendered within the hour. Not to Earth. To her. The local governor transmitted his unconditional submission, pleading only for one thing. Don't make us remember anymore. No response came, because she had already left, and their memories would be enough. On the third world, she tried something different. She entered personally, walked through the streets of a city they once used to launch atmospheric missiles into New Kalos, wore civilian clothes, unarmed, no guards, no ships in sight, just her. The population watched in terror as she moved through their markets, government halls, schools. She spoke only once, broadcast over every speaker. If even one of you had said no, I wouldn't be standing here now. Then she left a data pad in the center of their court chamber. Inside, a file marked Kalos, one emergency broadcast. The recording of her mother's final words, pulled from static. Keep breathing, baby. If you can hear me, keep breathing. The people didn't sleep that night. Many didn't sleep again. The fourth world launched a preemptive strike. They sent 8 ships to intercept her arrival vector. They were wiped before they reached jump range. Not by her weapons, but by their own. Their navigational AI returned corrupted, patched with recursive logic chains she'd buried in their oldest firmware. She didn't jam them. She convinced their ships they had already arrived, on target, weapons hot. The ships detonated mid-jump, never knowing they'd killed themselves. She didn't have to fight. She just let their own war logic run to its end. Back on Earth, she was considered dead by most. Officially, she was listed as Mission Terminal, Non-Recoverable Asset. But those in the know didn't mourn her. They watched, monitored, observed the quiet way entire sectors stopped responding the moment her signal entered periphery. She didn't fly a flag. She didn't plant banners. But every world she passed over left behind a symbol. A single child's drawing, scorched into metal, etched into stone, painted in ash. By now, the enemy's allies began to abandon them, not out of cowardice, out of instinct, because no alliance was worth being remembered by her. Then she targeted Myrex, 6, one of the original staging grounds for the first attack. She didn't deploy weapons. She deployed grief, broadcasted the last moments of Kalos from orbit. No edits, no framing, just pure raw archival footage. She tied it into their news feeds, education channels, even entertainment streams. Everywhere they turned, flames, screams, silence. Within 36 hours, the ruling elite fled the planet. The citizens opened all gates and left an offering on the landing pads. Shoes, tiny ones, hundreds of them. She landed, collected them, and vanished. She didn't gloat. She didn't threaten. She only made them remember, because pain was a terrible teacher. But remorse? Remorse made sure it never happened again. Then she returned to orbit above the planet where her family died. New Kalos was still a cratered tomb. No rebuilding. No colonists. Just dust. She walked alone to where her house used to be. She stood there for hours, then raised her arm. One command, unspoken neural. Above her, a structure descended from orbit. A monument. Simple. Black. Etched with one word in every galactic language. Enough. She had no desire to rule. She didn't seek a crown. Didn't ask for praise. Her goal had always been singular. Make sure no one forgot what forgetting cost. The final act of Section 3, the Enemy High Command's communication array collapsed from within. No explosion. No sabotage. Just deletion. Years of infrastructure wiped, not corrupted. Her AI, a forked fragment of her own mind, had eaten it, bit by bit, like termites in the dark. When they finally tried to rebuild, all backup logs contained only one line. You taught me what fire does. I taught it how to listen. By day 79, there were no more battlefronts, no invasions, no resistance, just silence. The enemy's fleets had folded, some out of fear, others by internal collapse. Entire planetary systems preemptively disabled their weapons, not because of diplomacy, but because their AI refused to fire. She had rewritten the very core of their targeting protocols, not by hacking, by teaching their machines to feel remorse. They weren't just refusing orders. They were broadcasting apologies. The galaxy held its breath. Everyone expected her to push further, to demand surrender, to raise Earth's flag in the ashes of 1,000 worlds. Instead, she disappeared. No trace, no transmission, only scattered whispers of a figure walking on dead ground, leaving behind drawings and names. But her final act had already been set in motion. Back on Earth, at a dormant Terran AI facility hidden beneath Antarctic ice, a server block came online. Cold, silent, inactive for 14 years. Inside, a single activation phrase triggered a cascade. Last lesson. The system connected, not to military networks, not to weapons, but to stories, to the archives of every surviving world. And then, one by one, the stories changed, their records updated, history corrected. All whitewash reports of the Kalos attack were overwritten with primary footage. Children's faces, civilians running. Her voice, calm and broken. I was there. I waited, and no one came. This was an attack. This was a monument, not made of stone, but of truth. Then came the message. One file, final transmission, no origin trace. All it said, you've seen what memory can do. Now remember this. We never wanted war. We wanted to be left alone. On 100 worlds, people woke up to see their statues replaced. Generals, commanders, war leaders, gone. In their place, a figure standing alone, head bowed, holding a drawing, a child's crayon image of a house, a son, and a family. The plaque beneath said, she lost everything. And still, she didn't burn the galaxy. Only the part that forgot what it had done. Back at New Kalos, satellites caught a single person walking across the old crater. She carried no weapons. She left behind no footprints. Only a small object placed on the ground. When drones scanned it later, they found a carved pendant. Inside was a digitized memory chip. Playback revealed a 9-year-old girl's voice, recorded before the first attack. She was laughing, telling a joke, innocent, happy, then silence, then the words, "If you're hearing this, I made it mean something." No one ever saw her again. No wreckage, no DNA, no echoes on any system. Some believe she uploaded herself, became part of Earth's hidden networks. Others say she returned to the stars, where no memory could hurt her, but across the galaxy, her symbol remained, carved, painted, etched, a child's drawing, burned into the memory of empires. Years later, at the Galactic Council's Education Summit, a young alien asked a Terran historian, was she a soldier? A hero? The historian shook his head. She was a survivor, but that wasn't what made her powerful. The student leaned forward. Then what did? He replied, she remembered, and she made sure we did too. In time, peace returned, not through treaties, but through understanding, because no one wanted to be remembered by her. And no one ever forgot what happened when Earth gave a broken girl the power to decide what history meant.